know what you guys are thinking. Okay, Brandon, this doesn't look air-cooled. It's not. I know. I work on air-cooled cars. This is air-cooled after all. But, and it's a big but, technically, all cars are air-cooled. Whoa! Not that there's actually air-cooled technology in all cars, like the lack of coolant, right? This is a water-cooled car. I get it. But what's cooling the water in the car? See what I did there? That's right. I can work on this too. There's fans, turbos, two things that I like. And it's red, which I also dig. This is a wicked good platform. So here's the story, okay? All kidding aside. I work on these cars. I do like these cars. As soon as I learn a platform, I have a hard time not owning one, and I don't own this car. But I'm having a really hard time with that. Because as soon as I learn a platform, I have a really hard time not owning one. So I'm gonna have to get one of these. I'm also gonna have to rob a bank before I can get one of these. Them's be the facts, okay? Look, it's not a perfect world. The Lancia Delta Evo Integrale and air-cooled are a synergy. I love these cars. These cars love me. They like to brake. All right, so here's the deal. I work on these cars. I learned the platform because one of my customers said, please do something with this. And you've probably seen some of my tech support videos for Lancias if you've watched the channel back far enough, because that's where I really started when I wasn't doing entertaining stuff like this, riveting entertainment, let's be real. I mean, you'll laugh, you'll cry. Critics are saying, wait, he likes Lancias? He works on other than air-cooled? Okay, anyway, my point here, I'm rambling. But my point in all my rambling is, I love. No, I'll never do that again, don't worry. My point in all of this is, I work on these cars. There's not many of them. There's not a many of them. There's not a many of them in this country, okay? And they are Italian cars, so not a many. And so we need to keep them on the road. We need to maintenance them somehow, right? Somebody's got to do it. I'm the guy, I guess. I signed up for it. The point of all of this is that this car had a cylinder head gasket leak, and it's kind of awesome because, I mean, that's not kind of awesome, but what's kind of awesome is that we get to do very thorough, intense service on the vehicle because it'd been sitting for longer than it'd been driven, and the owner wants to drive the snot out of it, which is what you do if you own a Lancia Delta Evo Integrale. That's what you do. You drive the snot out of this car. And if you don't drive the snot out of this car and you own it in some little garage where you keep it and you dust it all the time and you keep it clean, sell it. Also, if it's in a green with a tan interior, sell it to me. And that is my intro. Welcome to my TED Talk. Now let's talk about the service, because it's gonna be fun. As you can see, I have taken apart the things, and now it's ready for service. I mean, not quite yet, because I should probably take everything else on the car off, because you can't get at anything or do anything on this car without removing basically the entire vehicle. And people think my beloved little Beetles are bad because you have to take the engine out to pull the alternator off, or generator, depending on your generation. Talking about my generator. Okay, so, oh yeah, by the way, the bonnet flips this way. Stellar, good idea. Because then when you knock it down and die underneath it, it falls and cracks your back, it looks classier. It doesn't look like it ate you. It looks like you fell asleep inside of it. I enjoy wrenching on these cars, and they're not even hard to work on. Everybody says they're hard to work on. It's not hard to work on Italian cars. You just gotta wanna work. Like, I could literally sleep in here. This engine bay is big enough for me to sleep in. It's also big enough for like probably 42 cats to sleep in. A Lancia Delta Evo Integrale HF, which stands for highfalutin. The highfalutin Lancia Delta Evo Integrale. This is going to be fun. You know what else is going to be really fun? When we're all done and we get to test drive. And we're all done now. No, I'm just kidding. I wish. There's seriously no cylinder head on this. Take a look. I currently have it wrapped over in plastic, but there you go. I've cleaned it up, cleaned the facing surface. We've got a brand new water pump bolted onto the side of it there. This guy. And then cleaned up the gasket facing surface and everything. And we're gonna get to rocking and rolling on this puppy. And it'll be really fun. I'll show you guys how everything that makes the car start and steer and all of that bolts up over in here. Alternator down there and starter over there, and I'll just show you everything that we've got going on it as I rebuild and put it all back together so that you have an idea of what's happening. And that's the beast. That's the heart of the beast. There you go. Doesn't get more beastly than that. Doesn't get more heartly than that. So tomorrow when I peel the plastic off of it and clean it up a little bit more, we're just gonna try and face that surface just a little bit more. There's a couple little dark spots on there that we can get off. Little remnants of the old gasket and baked on coolant kind of stuff. Just gonna face that a little bit, and then we'll put the cylinder head down in place with the new head gasket. And we've got some upgraded cylinder head studs. We'll bolt down on there. Set the timing belt up. We'll just rock and roll. Put this thing all back together, and you guys will get to understand why I love the Lancia Delta Evo Integrale platform so much. And you'll also finally know what this monster that has been lurking under the car cover for the past bunch of episodes has all been about. Because this thing has been waiting for its time to shine, and now the hunt for the beast is on. All right, it's time to put the head on this thing. We have cylinder head gasket in the manual from Lancia. They spec, as I just cut through the whole gasket and ruined the whole thing. They spec, hold my beer. Right up here, it says Alto. And that goes to the top. That's your top. The cylinder head gasket is installed in place once the Alto is pointed up. There's dowel pins. I've cleaned the cylinder head so you can see all the old gasket material and everything that was pressed on there and baked on there from before is off. It is kind of a bear to tear the engine down to this level and replace the head gasket. So it's the type of thing you want to do once in your lifetime, if possible. So we're gonna slap a head on here, and then we're gonna put some upgraded head bolts in there and torque it to spec. Let's get after it. So the next thing we're going to do is check the torque values on the cam cap oil line bolts and these guys right here. And the reason why we're doing that is because the machine shop did not know the torque value because it's a step down head with a flange on it, and they just wanted to be extra sure. So the value is 25 Newton meters. It's 2.5 decanewton meters in the factory manual. And in fact, these are on the low side. So we're going to go through and just touch them all up. Looks like he took them 18 Newton meters. I'm going to do this entire row again, just checking values. And we'll start on this row. And checking values. Nice. Now to do the timing belt on this, what we have to do is we have to remove the balance shaft sprocket, lower balance shaft sprocket. There's two on this car. There's a balance shaft up here. There's a lower balance shaft down there. And you got to remove that to be able to get at the bearing. This is the idler bearing for the cam belt, also known as the timing belt. You can see and hear how grimy that one is. So these are torqued to about 118 Newton meters, if I remember correctly. And that's a fun time. You got to be able to grab the sprocket with something. So what I have is an engineered oil filter wrench. You can get these locking oil filter wrenches various different auto parts stores. And this is of the chrome vanadium variety. And I'll show you in a second what I've gone ahead and done. But right now, I'm going to just go ahead and loosen that sprocket bolt in the center there. There is the bolt. Now I can loosen the light little lock on this wrench, expand the wrench out, slide it off, and show you how I modified it. So I've modified this wrench here, as you can see, so that it's got several different teethings in it, tooth marks. I had the belt, so I could kind of line everything up, get an idea of what would be workable for the sprocket, right? So right there you can see I've got a nice thick one under my finger here that notches into the sprocket. The sprocket starts to diverge because it's round, so it starts to diverge from there. So this is just a clearanced tooth. This is the real one that's holding it in place, that tooth there. And then on top, went ahead and fashioned the same thing. So this here is the tooth that's doing primary duty, the one right above my thumb there. And that'll hold the sprocket in place. You can lock it down, and then you can get your Newton meter-age of force out of it. Comes off right like that. You can hear how, oh yeah, that's a real nice sound. These balance shafts index. There's a little tooth in there. You can see there's only one way for it to index. It's like a distributor. So you can see that one side's a fat side, one side's a thin side on there in terms of the crescent. So that slot down the middle isn't exactly halfway down the middle. It's offset a little to one side. I'm gonna go ahead and press this sprocket out of this bearing and then reinstall it. New bearing. Nice and smooth. It'll be nice and pretty on there. Then it's just a matter of lining this up and making sure that you get it slid into place, because there's no way to hold that balance shaft. Again, I'm going to install my little home fab sprocket wrenchy so you can see where I'm at. So we're going to be going in the tightening torquey direction. So this is actually going to stop on this stud here a little bit. And not a moment too soon. And you can see how balance shafts work because they're weighted, right? So see how that wants to always swing downward with just only a little coaxing? Turn up to here. It's always going to want to swing down there anyway. There's a little indication dot that lines up with this groove there. The purple mark lines up, and this has another indication dot and lines up right there. And the purple mark is my mark on this one as well. So get those all kind of in alignment. I know that one looks like it's a little bit off. It's a matter of camera angle and that kind of stuff. So the balance shaft belt goes on after the timing belt or the cam belt goes on. I'm gonna go ahead and lower this engine back down onto the mounts though, because I don't need it jacked up anymore. I had to jack it up to be able to get the torque wrench into this space here, because otherwise you cannot fit the torque wrench in there. So had to jack it up to be able to put proper torque on it, torque C's, and also just generally to work on it, because she's a little bit of a pain in the patushi. Okay, okay. And now we're resting back in our happy place, I guess, as it were. Timing belt is on. All the tensioners and idler bearings are all replaced. The balance shaft is on, again with tensioner and idler bearing replaced. And everything's timed. Engine spins over, nice and happy. So I've installed the flywheel lock onto the flywheel. I use a Porsche 944 flywheel lock that I've modified because the factory tool is probably gettable, but I don't know. I've hunted eBay a couple of times and haven't found it. So I use like I said, a Porsche 944 flywheel lock that I just modified one of the holes on, and it sits down into place nice. Yeah, it works great. Next thing I have to do is I have to tighten the gland bolt on the crankshaft. Well, there's a lot of different pulley wheels down there, but it's the gland bolt to the crankshaft for the cam belt. The gland bolt in there, which is a left-hand thread, reverse thread, that goes to 190 Newton meters. So everything bolts to that, and I've got to tension that puppy up. So flywheel lock is in place. I got my torque wrench out, got it preset to 190 Newton meters. Let's go. Now this is my flywheel lock down here, and this is what I've gone ahead and engineered up, right? So there's no bolt hole there's no bolt in that bolt hole on that end, but there is a bolt down here, and it is locked into the flywheel. And given the rotation and the tension and how it's positioned, I've done this many times, and it shouldn't slip. Should be good to go. There's a rag that I've stashed for later down there that was actually soaking up coolant from this pipe here. And so we get that out of there. Don't need that. Here's the beautiful Lancia Delta engine, Fiat product, technically. Wonderful little power plant. And there is your cam gear belt and your cam gears and your balance shaft belt riding down there, and everything all the way down, and all of the workspace that they've provided here. This is the water pump pulley, which is not going to be tightened up yet because I've got a cover plate to put in, and that cover plate won't fit if this is tightened into place, so we just leave that hang out for a second or two. So that's what it looks like on the side of this engine, if you were ever wondering. And of course, we've got everything pulled apart and out, so there's so much room over here. But as you're going to see, we're going to be bolting all those ancillaries up, the intake manifold, the AC compressor, and just everything. It's all getting put back on. There's a lot of hoses getting replaced. This hose is nice and torn and seen better days, you know. So all that kind of stuff is going to get replaced, and it'll be pretty. But right now, we're going to swing down here. I've got a light hanging out, and there we go. There's the gland nut. Somebody previously marked the torque with a green paint pen. I'm probably going to mark my torque with yellow or red. I'll decide based on my mood. It is a 22 millimeter gland nut, and it fits very tightly in here. I'm using a skinny-walled lug nut socket to get after it, and I should have a decent amount of swing room, but it's gonna be tight. As you can see, here's the body, and then the the torque wrench handle right now is resting on my knee pad. I do have a little swing with the torque wrench, so I can come out and clear the body here with it. I should be okay. Again, this is reverse thread, so turning it to off is actually going to be tightening it. So it does seem like it might have sprung free of my flywheel lock. There is another place that I can lock this flywheel. And so I'm going to go and see if my flywheel lock will hold. And if it won't, I'm going to lock this flywheel from the other place. And I'll show you where that's at. So Lancia was never messing around with engineering. They were all engineers. But they were messing around with mechanics because they weren't mechanics. And thankfully, they built in some fail-safes into their engineering. So one of those is the fact that the starter is really hard to get to. Pain in the butt location. So if you were to pull the starter out and try and engineer your own flywheel lock like the one that I have set up, which is good enough, honestly, for going in a clockwise direction, it's because this bolt is a counterclockwise bolt, a left-hand tightening thread. That is really my problem right now because I don't have my flywheel lock secured on that side. I have no way of keeping tension on it that way. It'll bite if it's going clockwise, but when it comes to going counterclock, it just doesn't want to bite. So, okay, fine. They built in a failsafe, which is this little spot on the transmission bell housing. This little guy here, this little diamond-shaped plate, it covers a spot where you can just go straight in and get at the teeth of the flywheel. And there is a factory tool that bolts in here as well, but that is also hen's teeth and very hard to get. So in lieu of that, you can use a nice pry bar or a big screwdriver and get in on the flywheel and lock things down that way. Right there. There are the teeth of the flywheel. There's one tooth of the flywheel through that hole. So you can see I'm going to put the blade of a screwdriver right into that tooth, and then I'm going to lock the flywheel that way. We should be good to go from there. I'm also going to leave my home jobby engineered Porsche 944 flywheel lock in place because you just never know. And that might really help out with things. So we'll see if it does. And if it doesn't, whatever, it's not going to hurt anything just hanging out in place there. So let's get this thing torqued to 190 Newton meters. Yeah, come on, man stuff, torque it. Yeah. It's really hot out today. I don't know if I'm all glistening or not. Am I glistening? That was closer than anybody needed to be to my face. Sorry about that. I hope you will accept my most sincerest of apologies. I can edit that out. I'm not gonna, but I can. Flywheel lock, that's what I was doing. Okay, so I went back to my engineered 944 flywheel lock, and I was like, I bet I can set this into position because I made that tool specifically to do this task. And sure enough, it was just out of location. So I set it into location, snugged it down a little better, and we are rocking and rolling. We're on our way to the correct foot poundage of torque. That is at, or well, Newton meterage. Newton meterage, rather. Getting close, 179. A reminder that we're going to 190. And there it is. I'm going to wait a second and check it again. Sure enough. So my flywheel lock worked after all. I'm very pleased with myself. I feel good. What's next? Now that it has performed its job to the fullest, there is no further need for this flywheel lock to be installed. So I'm going to remove it. This, by the way, is where the starter goes.
So if you ever want a reason to curse and swear about changing a starter on your car, cut your engineering department some slack, because that's just dumb. It goes right back there, under the intake manifold, under all the coolant manifold piping in the back, under everything. Power steering, hoses and lines. Just ridiculous spot. They could have put that on the front side, down by the turbo, underneath the car, anywhere else. Anywhere else. Okay. This is my flywheel lock. Again, it's a Porsche 944 flywheel lock that, as you can see, I have massively ovalized and increased the size of the hole on this side. So with that hole being all reamed out, it actually still works on a 944 just fine. There you go, there's the number, P206 or whatever. And I don't think I messed with this side at all. This hole is still fine, but this hole is all reamed out, and you know, that one has seen all of the adjustment. So now I can lock that in place on the Lancia flywheel, and I can nest the teeth of the flywheel into these teeth. It lines up perfectly. It misses that last tooth, but these two sink nice and deep into the flywheel lock here. And then the upper bolt just doesn't get held by anything. So it's kind of crucial to get it as tight and nested as possible so that it locks in. And that's what I was missing when I was trying to turn the engine over. It was just engaging into these teeth. It wasn't sunk down as deep as possible. So as soon as I sunk it down deep, then we were good. Show you a shot of the flywheel here. You'll get an idea of what's going on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what's going on. There's the flywheel there. Oh, yeah. Look at that flywheel and all those teeth. That's what's going on. Everything's a song, as I've said many times before, and we'll say many times again. Now you know about the What's Going On flywheel teeth song. What's going on? Yeah, I'm done for the day. This was good. A good amount of progress on this beautiful little car. And I'm going to keep rocking and rolling tomorrow, putting shields in, motor, braces, AC compressor, bolting up ancillaries, replacing hoses. We're just going to get after it. Bolting the valve cover back on, everything. Just, this car's going back together because we have a date with test driving this car, and then it gets to go home to the owner. But he wants me to drive it, make sure that it's good. He doesn't want to take it back, drive it, have to bring it back here for, like, you know, little touch-ups and tunes and that kind of thing. This is major surgery what we're doing on this car. Keep in mind, this car has 44,000 kilometers on it, but it had a cylinder head gasket leak. So, Italian cars, I've said it all. Italian cars. That, Italian. This whole thing, beautiful, Italian. Kind of looks like a GTI, right? But it's not, it's Italian, okay? So don't go pretending that you think it's a GTI or something like that, like this guy would. You overstuffed GTI, you shape up. Monza red, beautiful color. Hey, check this out. This is in the shop.
Hey, thanks for watching. I'd appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to support in other ways, check out the Be Air Cooled website. It's beaircooled.com. And you can maybe grab a t-shirt or get yourself a lid. Whatever makes you feel happy. Floats your boat, powers your wagon. I'm doing this because it's something that I love doing. And I like being able to share it with you. So the best way that you can help is to give me those likes, subscribe to the channel, and become a part of this motoring experience, this culture, become a part of the classic car community, become a part of the air-cooled community. Be air-cooled.